I'm Dan Batard of the Miami Herald. This is not your usual kind of sports show. It's a family show I do with my father. Papi, what's your favorite part of the show today?
Carmelo getting hit in the crotch.
Let's get started.
Did the U.S. women deserve to beat Canada?
No, that was totally bogus. I do love, though, how the U.S. women either dominate or just play epic matches. It's a fascinating team, but in this instance, two really bogus calls. One you never see called. Even though the goaltender for Canada had been warned, she held the ball more than 6 seconds. They called it. They give you a free kick right outside the penalty box, and then subsequently another bad call. Accidental elbow gets called a handball. Two awful calls, and the Canadians are wonderfully bitter. They're just spitting at everybody. One of the defenders said, I hope that referee sleeps well tonight in her USA jersey. And the referee is Norwegian. And I just love the visual of that. A Norwegian referee sleeping well in her USA jersey. We went to bed last night wearing our USA jerseys, though, because it was cheating, but it was on our behalf. Woo, yeah! We slept well in our USA jerseys last night.
Was the Carmelo crotch shot justified?
I don't think a crotch shot is ever justified, but in this case, it might be partially justified. This is something I learned from the Olympic Games that I didn't know before. Evidently, Chris Paul does this a lot to a lot of people. I thought of Chris Paul as this cute little teddy bear, but apparently he's a cute little teddy bear who every once in a while will hit somebody in the crotch. And so the Argentinians are furious about this, and they take their revenge on, not Chris Paul, on Carmelo. Look at the beeline this guy makes right for the crotch. I mean, he just waited for someone to get vulnerable, someone to jump. Look at it, beeline right there. I mean, that's not even close to defense. No, that is a veteran crotch chop retaliation, but this is how America retaliates. Watch how we retaliate. See, okay, you retaliated to our crotch shot with another crotch shot. Now Russell Westbrook is going to put his crotch on somebody's neck. Watch this. Here we go. Yeah, this is how America does it. What's like this? And then I'm going to stare you down. And I'm going to get a technical foul. Oh, my God. I'm going to get a technical foul, and that's fine. Look at his teammates are proud of him. That's right. We'll take the point. They tried to make a point.
Crotches were everywhere.
Crotches were everywhere. That is not a phrase I thought that we'd hear at the start of the Olympics.
Time to dazzle you with some more headlines.
Dazzle. There's a lot to talk about, or maybe we just misplaced our guest. Let's get to it.
Did Vince Scully nail this translation of Jim Tracy's tirade?
I knew you were going to do that to me. Let's hear this. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm not going to be able to see it right now because I've got some sort of makeup in my eye. Let's see this. Thank you, Myra.
The meeting looks like they're going to call it a trap. That is Blinken fertilizer. I'm doing the best to translate. You gotta be blinking me. Unbelievable. Blinken, unbelievable. No way. No blinking way. No bloody way.
He's the best. He's still the best. He's like 84 years old. And he made it sound like a sonnet. It sounded like a poem. Blinken fertilizer sounded, that man could say anything, and I would be charmed.
I don't think he was saying blinking.
No, I don't think he was actually saying blinking either. I don't think he was saying fertilizer either. I don't know how great would it have been if he had been. This is blinking fertilizer. That'd be a great rant if he were actually doing it that way. Then cleaned it up a little bit for him.
Is Jalen Rose right that the women's gymnastic team should not be called the Fab Five?
Yeah, he's absolutely right. He could not be more right. This Fab Five won something.
Who was more unflappable here, the man or his baby?
You seem to struggle with that word a little bit.
Unflappable. No,
unflappable.
that's
Okay. This is a plague throughout sports. Throughout sports, people are catching foul balls with babies to get on television, and it needs to stop because somebody's going to drop an infant. Let's watch this. Who's more unflappable here, Papi? The man or the baby? What? I mean, the baby's always unflappable. I mean, the baby's just hungry. What? I mean Can we see the wife in the background? Is that his wife or his girlfriend or his mistress? What have I done? All right, let's look at this woman in the background. She seems happy with the whole thing. Look at this. Look at her. I'll tell you, never mind the baby and the man. The woman is unflappable in that situation. The woman wins the unflappability contest. Second place goes to that woman texter in the background who just simply would not look up from her phone. Did that guy do a hat tip at the end of that? No smile, just a hat tip. Yes, this is the most normal thing in the world for me to be at a Cubs-Padres game and catch a foul ball with an infant. He did a hat tip with a baby in one arm, the baseball in the other. You got to put down the baseball to do the hat tip, right? No, he does not. Baseball in hand. This guy is amazing. He's a multitasker. Like, look at him. That woman doesn't have to do anything. This guy's a hero foul ball catcher. He gets the adoration. He takes care of the baby. That woman's not contributing much of anything to this entire experience.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
We are back on Monday. We've got the next few days off. Back on Monday, 4:30. See you then. Thank you for watching.
Gracias.
What are you going to do with your time off this week?
With my time off, I'll be spending some time with your mother. The beach, you know, we got to do a lot of things to do there. So
I suspect you'll be spending a lot of time with my mother's fridge.
well, it's true too. Very close to the fridge.
He never gets too far away. Things start beeping if he gets too far away from the fridge.
Got to make sure that it's working okay, and it's properly stocked now.
Right. That's what he's doing. He's checking to see the temperature.
Should this coach feel pride or shame about the way this team got to the Little League World Series?
What do you think? You were mad about this.
No, he should be ashamed.
He should be ashamed. My father was furious about this. Here's the backstory. A kid apparently missed third base by this much. And the umpire, overly enthusiastic, was waiting all his life for this appeal play to happen so he could yank somebody out of the game. And now all of a sudden, the team that appealed is going to the World Series. Watch this. He barely missed third. It's hard to see. That's a bad play by that kid. That kid shouldn't go to the World Series. Look at this. You can, you can't tell. You can barely tell. Now they're all talking. You got to throw the ball to third. Tell the ump, watch this ump here. Watch this ump. Look how happy he is. Yeah, look at this. Oh, that's brutal. The ump better run away. Come on. Did miss third, though. Did miss third.
The kid who allegedly may have missed third is going to be scarred for life now.
That's the deal. Don't play Little League World Series stakes. What?
And the left fielder went from goat to hero. If he doesn't miss that play, that's it.
Not goat to hero, but he went from goat to being in the World Series, even though he doesn't necessarily deserve to be on a technicality. That is brutal. I just snorted. That was so brutal.
Come on, Smoltz.
Dominant pitcher for a long time with the Braves. He's got some great baseball stories. Let's talk to John. Now it can be told, how many of the hitters that you hit in your career with pitches did you hit on purpose?
I think 2. That's it. Only 2. And the purpose of it was for, obviously, another teammate having something happen to him, and it would have been over, and it usually was, but unfortunately we got in a brawl after that. It was a Philadelphia game where everybody knew everything was fine. I hit the batter. He was walking to first. The umpire, who was a young call-up umpire, tossed me out immediately. So the only thing I could do was toss him out of the game immediately, and that's what I did. I said, no, you're out of here. You've just incited a brawl. This was over, and now you have a lot of guts to throw me out when my guy got hit twice, and it literally, a brawl did ensue after that. So in both cases, a brawl. I had gotten involved in 2 brawls, and those were the 2 times that my luck, somebody felt that it was personal. But this one case was the umpire's fault. No warning, threw me out, and if you look it up, immediately I said, no, you're out of the game, and I threw him out of the game.
But what kind of reaction?
I threw the umpire out of the game.
What kind of reaction is that? What do you mean?
Well,
you don't have that power. What do you mean you threw the umpire out of the game?
All I can tell you is I felt a lot better, okay? Because he made a bad call, and I got face-to-face with him, never cussed at him. I just said, you blew it. You blew it. And unfortunately, I ended up being right.
But no, what do you mean you ended up being right? He got to keep umpiring the game. You didn't throw him out of the game. I don't even understand what you're doing there.
Well, I said I was right that now a brawl was going to happen, because now all of a sudden I'm out of the game, and the situation, which was over, just escalated. And again, it's my only ejection of my career where I actually threw the umpire out, and I thought I did a pretty good job.
Take me back to the earliest moments in your career. Was there ever a time where you were on the mound and somebody stepped into that batter's box and you were awed or emotional because you were getting to face that person at the height of sports?
Wow, good question. I think and I'm trying to remember if I faced Dale Murphy. I don't know that I did. That would have been the hardest one for me, facing Dale Murphy, the guy that I really grew up looking to emulate and I played with and all those things. I'll be honest, the hardest thing was Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux. Facing those guys who I'd played with forever, the adrenaline, the emotion, just the willingness to want to get them out. Fortunately, Glavine never got a hit, but Greg did. So I got to live with that for the rest of my life. I tipped my hat. Nobody in the stands knew what I was doing, but I bowed down so he could see this part of my head, you know? And so he got a big kick of it, and I thought that might distract him a little bit. Next pitch, he had a line drive for center and actually asked for the ball at first base. But fortunately, I didn't lose to those guys. That's my saving grace, but I did give up a hit to Greg Maddux.
If I had gone back to a young John Smoltz and said you can have the career in basketball or baseball, would you have chosen baseball?
Basketball. I love basketball. Basketball is my first love. I've played it up until this day. For 20 years, I would use my off season and play basketball 3 days a week, about an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, and that's how I stayed in shape. I've been lucky. Up until recently, had no knee problems. But I took care of that. Now I have a knee problem.
Smoltz, you playing basketball, I imagine you're super competitive there too. Are you the jerky player at the Y? Are you a guy who's going to get in somebody's face every once in a while and not be able to control your temper at the Y?
No, let me tell you what it is. And I've played in this league, and you know how these leagues can get. The referees get no love. But I'm the guy in a rec league, open league. I'm the guy that's taken 2 to 3 charges a game.
Oh, no.
Nobody does that.
You're that guy.
Nobody. I'm taking the charge. I'm
I
that
hate
guy.
that guy.
I'm the guy that makes the guy. Well, I'm the guy dishing it out, like to break it down, kick it out. I don't even care if I shoot. I don't care if I score a point. I can shoot, but I'd rather have somebody else. But I'm the guy that's taking the charge and drawing the technical. I've drawn about 9 technicals in 2 years.
Smoltz, everybody hates that guy. Why are you so proud of being that guy?
I know they do. I can't help it. I can't help it. What I claim is I get stuck in the lane and there's nothing I can do, so I stand there and take it.
Did you have many moments? You consulted with mental health therapists. You spoke very highly of sports psychology. Did you have many moments where you were on the mound and not thinking about baseball? Did that happen to you very often?
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's a young player, unless they're way beyond their years, that doesn't have those moments. I just had them more than I should have. I had moments where I would be, not proud, but be in the 8th inning of a well-pitched game and thinking about the answers to the questions in the 9th inning after I finished the game. Needless to say, very few of those games I completed. I'd have moments, whether it was Barry Larkin or Adam Dunn, and I would be cruising and I wanted to work on a pitch, and I would literally step off the mound and go, what's the worst thing that can happen? A home run, a solo home run? And that's exactly what happened. I learned to temper those thoughts. I learned, and that's why I say the pressure motivated me. I never had any of those thoughts in the big game. I never had any of those thoughts in 1996. There's rampant thoughts when you go through a season and you start thinking about things you shouldn't have, and I learned to control those. I have those thoughts on the golf course, and those don't go well either. But I think that's just human nature, to figure out yourself and what you can do and not be afraid of admitting. See, I think I grew as a pitcher when I admitted those things. There's players that lie and deny that when you ask them those questions and you go, you know what, you're not going to get better till you become real and admit some of the things that you're going through, and it's okay. And so, yeah, I had to learn those thoughts are not good thoughts.
John, thank you for being on with us. We enjoyed it.
My pleasure.
Time to play the game that is heavily pregnant. Do you question?
Heavily pregnant. You send us topics and events, then we question them.
Do you question if this is the best catch of the season?
Have you seen this?
I saw it.
You did see it. My
I
father.
did see it. Yeah, I did see it.
Scouring the MLB package for Blue Jays games, oddly enough. Let's watch this. This is pretty good. This is a 10-foot wall, 10-foot wall. This is no chain link fence that he can grab onto here. He's 5'9". Oh, you got to be joking. That is ridiculous. Excellent necklace. Look at that. That timing is crazy.
So, was it the best catch of the year?
How can there be a better catch than that one? Because you need everything to work in your favor. You need the outfielder to be tiny, but be able to jump. You need the wall to be 10 feet, but not have any chain link. And then you have to have it in the air long enough so that you can time all those things. That's better than any of the catches Trout has made. It's better than any of the catches Blanco have made. There hasn't been a better catch this season than that one. Too many things. I mean, it's not just the athleticism. It's you need 1,000 things to be right to make that look the way that it looked. Or four things.
Do you question how A.J. Przenski was able to score from first base on a grounder to short?
He's slow. His knees are ragged because he's a catcher. What do you imagine happened here?
He fooled everybody.
No, they can't be fooling everybody, Papi. There has to be a bad throw here, right? Let me see. Let me see what this is. He fooled everybody, Papi?
And they bump each other. They still get him, but A.J., nobody at third, just waltzes on into third base. Thank you very much.
There's nobody home.
Oh, you got to be joking.
Fooled everybody. I told you, he fooled everybody.
He did tell me.
Yeah, you know.
He did tell me he fooled everybody. And I'm like, how could it possibly be that he fooled everybody?
Nobody was expecting him to go around the horn, and that's precisely what he did.
But where are the A's?
Back knees fat. He doesn't know how to run. Look at him.
Where are the A's? He's not fat, Dad. We're fat. That's not fat. Where are the A's? Where did the catcher go? Hold on a second. I saw no proof that there was ever a catcher on that field.
Where was the pitcher? He's supposed to cover home plate or third.
They still get him, but A.J., nobody at third, just waltzes on it.
Oh, I see what happened there. The catcher went to cover third base. I don't know what the pitcher was doing. He wasn't covering anything. And I'll tell you what happened after that play. A.J. Przenski, unbelievably annoying, just a professional irritant, gets to sit in that dugout smiling at how he's smarter than your entire infield. And he just chortles and belly laughs. Ha ha ha, look, I'm not fast, I'm really slow, but I think faster than all of you A's. Idiots.
Do you question how this can happen on a penalty kick?
What can happen? What happened? What happened on the penalty kick? Let me see. It's got to be a disaster, right? What was that? I thought for sure the mascot was going to get hit. I thought for sure the mascot. What was that? I mean, what? Dad.
He put too much into it. That's all.
I know he put too much into it.
That's what happened.
Look at these guys. Look at these guys laughing. I mean, they should be laughing at him.
The extra point is good, you know.
The extra point was good. Yes, it was good. What was that?
Our producer's British, and he says that's not even that interesting. Happens all the time.
I never saw
Let me
it.
explain something to our producer who's British. You cannot miss a penalty kick worse than that. It's not possible. It's fun. That is as badly as any human being, even a toddler, even someone who doesn't have legs. Now I've gone too far.
Yeah, you went too far.
Yeah, I went too far. I'm Dan Batard of the Miami Herald. This is my father, Gonzalo. Terrible shirt by him today. On today's show, we've got Bomani Jones, Buck Showalter, and a naked person. First question, Papi.
Is everyone getting a little too excited about Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco is excited about Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco said this offseason, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Somebody asked him, are you in the top 5? He said, in top 5? I'm at the very top of the top 5. I'm the best. And here's a happy Harbaugh. I didn't know there was such a thing. There's a happy Harbaugh after the game last night. Listen to him.
Joe Flacco is going to be a great player. Joe Flacco is a great player. Joe Flacco has been a great player. Sure, he's elite. Sure, he is. Sure, he is. Of course, he is. You know, he's a winner. He's one of the toughest quarterbacks I've ever been around. He's the best quarterback I've ever been around. He's our quarterback. Okay, he's our quarterback, and that's good enough for us.
Looks like his price tag may have just gone up too.
Bring it. Hey, pay him whatever he asked for. Hear that, Steve? Pay the man. Pay the man.
Wow, that's a huge endorsement. And in the middle of that, he said something. He said he's a winner. And how about this? Since 2008, no quarterback in the NFL has won more than this guy. Drew Brees is even with him, but nobody's won more than this guy. I would caution you on this, though. As great as they looked last night, in the season opener last year, They beat the Steelers 35-7. Everybody was talking about Flacco and raving about that team. And then the next week, they lost by 2 touchdowns against the Titans.
Flacco says he's the best. List the quarterbacks you'd take ahead of him.
Oh, man. All right. We got Breeze. We got Rodgers. We got Brady. We got Manning. He's not even in the top 5 because I could keep going here, right? I'd take Roethlisberger before him. I mean, he's sort of in that Stafford class, in the class of what is this that I'm doing?
RG3?
Oh, well, no, not Dad. No, not RG3. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe next week.
Was the Raiders backup long snapper put in an unfair position?
This poor guy, Travis Gaethel. The only reason I know his name is because he was terrible at his job yesterday. He's been in the league 3 years as a linebacker, and the long snapper, you think that's a great job, right? You could do it for 15 years in the league if you do it well. But it's not a great job, because if you don't do it well, this is the only time anybody knows your name. Travis Gaethel, here he is. How terrible does he feel? Hasn't done this since high school, has never done it before on dirt. And by the 3rd time there, that second one was his fault because the punter had to move up. By the 3rd time there, that guy doesn't even want to go on the field, right? The coach is asking him to go on the field. He doesn't want to go back on the field. He's lost his confidence. And to make matters worse, the Redskins long snapper this weekend did his job correctly with a broken arm. With a broken arm. Oh, poor Travis Gaethel. I think I just mispronounced his name.
Did Andy Murray's win at the U.S. Open make tennis more or less fun?
Oh, people would say more fun. People who love tennis, because now you got 4 legitimate guys who could win majors. Nobody thought he was going to win yesterday, right? After he goes up 2-0 and you think he's going to win. But when it went to 2-1 and then went to 2-2, you didn't think he was actually going to win that match, right? Nobody thought he was going to win that match. But it's less fun because now we don't have him to kick around anymore. But it's more fun because look at the people who are showing up to these matches. Did you see this? Vlade Divac was at this match. He was there for Djokovic. Sean Connery was at this match. I mean, James Bond is in his corner. And then, look at this. This is great. This is fun. Look at Yvonne Lendl having
talk
fun.
a little bit about that guy that you hired this year to help you get to this
having
place
fun,
tonight?
attempting to smile. Using the smile muscles on his face that have never been used before. Look at that. He laughs with his shoulders, not his face. Yvonne Lendl, ladies and gentlemen. What says fun more than that?
Kevin Spacey was in the crowd as well.
Oh, tennis is getting interesting, right? I mean, you got James Bond at the match. You've got Kaiser Soze is at the match.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
If you were Gio Gonzalez, would you resent all the attention that the... Should Tom Brady be flattered or insulted that Wes Welker proclaimed him the toughest metrosexual he knows?
Do you know what a metrosexual is? You're 69 years old. Do you know what a metrosexual is?
Is there a metro in New England where they play?
A metro, like a train? You think that's what it is? It involves a train?
Yeah.
What do you think is happening on that train?
Why?
What do you think Tom Brady is doing on a train? No, a metrosexual is like a man who, pedicures and manicures and very fancy.
Oh, yeah.
Takes care of his face with great lotions.
Oh.
You're not one of those.
No,
You're not a
one of
metrosexual. Wes Welker better be careful. He's being phased out in New England. He played like 2/3 of the snaps. He became the leading receiver in Patriots history, most catches in Patriots history, and he's got a front row seat to his phase out as they just go with giant tight ends, giant people. Gronkowski has bolts in his neck, bigger than Wes Welker. Wes Welker needs to be careful what he's calling Tom Brady. He might not get another ball thrown to him all year.
Would you want a sweaty naked guy sitting in the back seat of your car?
The answer to this is always no, correct? It's always no unless somebody calls you and say, hey, I've abducted your family. You better bring me a sweaty naked guy in the back of your car. Let me see. What is this? What are you guys? Yeah! Streaker! At a football game. Is he wearing, what is he wearing on his head? Oh, there's security. Doing a crack job. Security. That's getting a lot of cheers. Look at this guy. Oh, look. Oh, the streaker escaped. Yeah. Yeah, that never happened.
That's the way you do it.
Yes.
That's the way you do it. That's it.
Getaway car. We found the circumstance under which but you absolutely want a sweaty naked guy, not only in the back of your car, but laughing and jiggling all over your seats. That is exceptional. Yeah. How is this story not higher in our show? Why didn't we lead with this instead of Monday Night Football? Oh,
Coming up next on my son Stevie.
my father has a question for you. Go ahead, Papi.
Why do they call you Buck?
We're not going there. This is a family show. No, really, it's not near as complicated as everybody thinks. I just, you know, it's one of those things that I promised my mom I'd stay away from. But, you know, I just, you know, as a player, I wasn't as gifted as the Mattinglys and some of the other guys, so I had to get to the park real early and had to stay late.
Hold on
And
a
it worked
second.
out it worked out okay.
I don't think you answered the question, though. Is it a secret?
Exactly. That's the whole idea.
Wait a minute. It's a huge secret? The way you got your nickname
No,
is a
not
secret?
really. No, I don't think it's a secret anymore.
So, but what's the answer?
You have to ask Ed Napoleon, my manager in the Florida State League my first year.
Okay. Buck, thank you for being on with us.
Okay, guys, thanks for having me. It was fun. Y'all take care.
Gracias.
We've done some research since that interview,
Yeah.
Papi, and you know why they call him Buck? He said this in interviews before, not our interview,
Yeah.
that he used to hang around a lot naked.
Okay.
Buck naked.
Time to play the game that has had some work done recently. See or no?
You ask us if something is likely to happen, we tell you what we think. Papi, I think, got all of these right yesterday.
That's right. Do you see Aroldis Chapman getting his mojo back tonight?
He was dominant all season, and then last night, his velocity way down. He walked 3 guys because he wasn't trusting his velocity. This guy throws a 92, 93 mile.
USA, USA. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed the naked guy jumping into the car.
Gracias.
Time for today's Twitter question. You could send them to @DLHQ. What are your thoughts, Papi, on friends with benefits?
If it feels good and nobody gets hurt, I'm okay with it. Did Brandon McCarthy pick the right time to ask for a threesome?
I love that question is coming from my father. Well, did he? He's coming out of the hospital. He got hit with a line drive like in the skull. I mean, brain stuff going on. I mean, sympathy. This is a good time. We can agree on that. Dad, if we agree on nothing else, this is the best time. In fact, it can be argued in the history of our most historic sport, what's the better time than this when you're coming out of the hospital with a brain injury of some sort? They've managed to make, Brandon McCarthy is funny and smart, and he has managed to make a brain injury funny. Goodell needs to hire this guy to help clean up his league. How about his wife's response to this on Twitter? I will strike a man with a brain injury. So that's a no. That sounds like a no. That's not a good time to ask this particular woman about a threesome. In your experience, when is the best time to ask for a threesome, Papi?
That's on my field of expertise.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not. He prefers foursomes.
Coming up, time to play the game that is a good listener. Do you question?
Mom says you stink at listening.
Do you question if Marlins pitcher Chris Hatcher will ever speak to his catcher again?
This is funny here. It's not funny if you're Chris Hatcher, and it's not funny if you're the catcher Brantley on this. But watch this, because this happens last night. The Phillies all of a sudden are in the playoff race. The Phillies are 500. Watch this, though. Jimmy Rollins gets a break here. Jimmy Rollins is obviously out. He should be out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You know where this is going. Yeah. Yeah. And then you know what's happening next, right, Bobby?
It never fails.
It never fails. Actually, it probably fails most of the time. But, yeah. Did you see what he did there? Of course that's what he did. Look, he throws down his pass. Look at Brantley's reaction. Of course. You got to be kidding me. That's my fault. That ball was in my glove, and now it's 400 feet away.
The pitcher kind of grooved that next pitch to Rollins, though.
Yeah, to spite, out of spite. He wanted to spite Brantley. Like, you're going to do that? Really? I got an out. You're going to do that to me? I'm going to make you feel worse. Here you go, Jimmy Rollins.
Do you question Aubrey Huff athleticism?
This is great. John Kruk told a famous story one time. Being at a party, he was smoking a cigarette, and a woman came up to him and said, "You shouldn't be smoking, you're an athlete." And he said, "Lady, I'm not an athlete. I'm a baseball player." Aubrey Huff, right here, is the perfect articulation. He's the perfect symbol for what John Kruk was talking about. He's in the batter's box. Look at this. This is amazing. This is a double for any human being. Any human being except this one, who appears to be running on stilts. And I mean, a robot would run more athletically than that right there. Something made out of metal. I mean, you know what I want to do? I want to run out on the diamond and WD-40 him. I'm not even sure that this is the funniest Aubrey Huff clip that we have. Do you have that one from a couple of days ago? Aubrey Huff here is going to hurt himself. Now, he's not involved in this play. He's not anybody on the field. You're going to have to wait until this play is over to see how Aubrey Huff hurts himself in the dugout. Wait until you see this. Celebrating this. Here it is right here. There's Aubrey in the middle. Yeah, whack! Ouch! Ouch! Ryan Theriot didn't feel that at all. Ryan Theriot is really feeling good about his glutes.
Could have been a tin of tobacco in there, maybe.
Oh, that's a good theory. What do you think?
Could be what?
A tin. He's laughing.
Oh, a tin of tobacco. Okay. I didn't get it.
I know, you weren't paying attention.
Do you question whether a kid wearing flip-flops is athletic enough to outrun a bison?
This is at Yellowstone Park. The answer to this is no, you're not athletic enough. There's probably a reason here. They tell you not to get close to the bison. This is bad. This is a bad idea. Watch the kid in white. Watch the kid in white. He's got flip-flops on. He's getting close. Right now, he's safe because he's behind the other kid. What's going to happen here? He's going to get hit in the water, isn't he? This bison's just messing with him, isn't he? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Run! Ah! Oh, no! What just happened there? Which direction? Oh, ah! Ah! Oh, my God. How horrifying is that for that kid? Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, I don't... What? Yeah. That's not funny, Dad. I mean, look at Dad laughing. Dad is unbelievably irresponsible here.
Again.
I mean...
That kid is fast. I don't think that Aubrey Huff would have made it.
Aubrey Huff.
I know. Aubrey Huff too. Yeah,
Aubrey Huff today would be he'd be portions of that bison stool this morning.
Time to play the game that enjoys a little hanky-panky. See? Or no?
A lot of hanky-panky. We changed back to the original format because the last 2 days, what was your record with predictions?
7-0.
7-0, so we took it away from him.
Tonight in Baltimore, an AL East battle, Rays at Orioles.
Oh, I'm torn on this one because the Orioles are a complete statistical fluke. They are an aberration. They have won more one-run games than any team in the history of baseball. They've been outscored this season. But who doesn't want to see the Orioles and the Rays knock off the Yankees? Papi, are you intrigued?
See, I'm very intrigued. Because nobody was expecting the Orioles to do anything. All the experts that were counting the Orioles out. So I think that they're going to win tonight and they're going to take over first place. That's it. Orioles, go. Go.
You said that already 6 times now.
Tonight on TLC, here comes Honey Boo Boo.
No, this is a spin-off. Toddlers and Tiaras, it's uncomfortable, it's creepy, but you can't stop watching it. She was a star in that, so now there's a spin-off, and we're proof positive that you shouldn't do that. Like when something is mildly successful on Pardon the Interruption, you don't spin it off and make a show with your father about it. Let's look at a clip here.
I want the barbecue, then I want the chicken,
okay,
and then I want the ribs.
That's 3.
I know. But I got 2 sides. Why can't my sides be meat?
Because it's not how it works. I don't think she's gonna eat all this.
But I want it.
But she wants it. Her eyes are bigger than her mouth, I think.
We're fat.
We're fat.
We're not fat. We're pleasingly plump.
It's pleasingly.
My dad likes this girl's attitude right here. Give me some meat, and on the side, what would you like on the side, sir? Meat and salad? No, can I exchange my salad
Barbecue beans.
for meat? Oh, barbecue beans. Papi, are you intrigued by this?
See, I'm very intrigued because it's different to see a 6-year-old being the start of a show like that, and then all the Express says that she's not going to be a beauty queen, so I'm going to go against the Express and say right here today that she's going to be the future Miss USA. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Download the radio show on iTunes. Thank you for watching.
Gracias.
Papi, Nick Arnold asked by Facebook, I just started talking to an ex again. How do I keep myself from falling back in love with her?
Just tell her that you have another girlfriend. You got no time for her now.
That seems like terrible advice. This advice segment stinks. I'm Dan Batard of the Miami Herald. This clown over here is my father, Gonzalo. Papi, what are you doing with the Miami Heat's championship trophy?
Nothing.
Now, Papi, you know I'm going to need that back.
What if the Packers lose their second straight game at home tonight?
That seems pessimistic. The numbers and history would line up against them if that happens. Only 2 teams in the Super Bowl era have lost their first 2 games at home and then made the playoffs, never mind the Super Bowl. So what you'd be talking about here is in the first 2 games, the Packers would lose as much as they lost all of last season. And here's the problem. The Bears and the 49ers are uniquely qualified to win at Lambeau. And in fact, I would say that they're better qualified to win at Lambeau than the Packers, who would prefer to play in a dome. You've got Greg Jennings, you've got Jordy Nelson. They both told me they'd prefer to be in a dome on the road than playing at home. So this is a tough spot here for the Packers, but I don't think they start 0-2. I don't think you have the MVP of the league at quarterback and you start 0-2 at home.
Do I get to pick the game? I have been doing very well.
He's 7-0 with his last 7 predictions. Go ahead, pick the game, old man.
I'm going with Jay and Brandon all the way.
Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall all the way. Why? Because he's the only person on earth who doesn't like Aaron Rodgers.
Should the Bears and Packers even be playing so soon after opening day?
I understand.
John Madden calls RG3 the best player in the NFL today. Has he lost his mind?
What do you think?
Well, you know, old people sometimes they say things that they don't make sense, so what can I tell you?
Old people do that sometimes. We've built an entire television show around that. Let's listen to John Madden.
I have to admit that I said this, and it just came out. I said RG3 is the best player in the NFL today. And I that's what I really thought, and those words did come out. Now, I don't know that I'm going to, live with that or back that up the rest of the season.
But in week number 1, John, you're right. He was
right off the bat, yeah.
I'd been wondering where John Madden had been, and evidently, he's had a lot of opinions stored up that he hasn't had an ability to get out there in public because he's been talking to plants and barbecues and some of the tools at Ace Hardware. And so when sometimes you get, this is how it happens. You get all these things, they get gurgle up inside of you, and then you have these opinions, and then they come out. And they come out just like that, and boom! That's how they come out. They come out, and they're a little overzealous.
Well, he attracted some attention.
Yeah. That was a horrible John Madden impersonation I did there. It was horrible. Did they even understand I was doing a John Madden impersonation?
Oh, I think that they knew.
I don't think they knew it was a John Madden impersonation until I threw in the boom.
Would you rather see Brandon Whedon bounce back or put up another disaster?
So am I rooting for the Browns to fail and their quarterback to fail? Am I rooting for this? I mean, it's going to happen, whether I root for it or not. He's going to put up another disaster. And I feel like this is the correct analysis of Brandon Whedon. The Browns got him after his prime. They got him at 28 years old. And so now, game 1 was the Brandon Whedon descent. It's not going to go up from here. He's an old person. They put an old person at quarterback, and so it's going to go from where it was. That's the peak, and now we're witnessing the decline. Here's the funniest thing about that Brandon Whedon start that included him getting trapped under a giant flag. It's not merely that he was 12 of 35. It's not merely that he fumbled twice or had 4 interceptions and had a quarterback rating of 5.1. It's that if he had been merely incompetent, if I had upgraded what he did to merely incompetent, he's a winner in week 1. He's a winner in week 1 if he had merely been incompetent.
Should Heat fans worry that LeBron just switched agents?
He loves its beer. It's a heavy game.
Do you question how a 20-year-old rookie has the onions to make the play that Manny Machado made last night?
Onions. We need to go a little larger than that. Grapefruits, cantaloupes, watermelon starts to be uncomfortable and sort of elephantine. But you understand the point. The general point is onions, because my father came in here today raving about this play. My father, all of a sudden, 4 minutes ago, huge Orioles fan. Look at this play.
3-2 away. Longoria waiting. Slow ground ball, man.
This is so great. At any point the last 20 years, the shortstop's not covering for the Orioles in that spot, and that throw's going to left field. Oh.
I never saw that play before in baseball.
That's what he came in here yelling about today, and a 20-year-old did it. And look at the celebration. How great is this celebration? They went on a walk-off. Nate McLeod at the end of the game. He's about 4 feet tall. You'll notice this here as he's carried around by his underwear by a screaming human being on the shoulder. Watch this. That's a bad angle right there. Everybody hitting him on the back. This is a lot of fun. Nate McLeod evidently doesn't have the weighty onions that the 20-year-old does, because that guy was very easy to carry, right? He didn't weigh very much. I fully expected somebody to hurl him, to throw him.
Do you question whether it was really a strike 3 on Adrian Gonzalez?
My father was mad at Adrian Gonzalez last night. He struck out 3 times during the game, and he complained about this last strikeout. What did you call him?
Crying baby.
A crying baby. You didn't like this call here. They're 6-11. The Dodgers are 6-11 since getting the crying baby. Let's look at this.
Got it. Outside corner. That's what
he's unhappy about this. He says that shouldn't be called in the 9th inning, that he should be standing on first base. And then Adrian Gonzalez, who doesn't do this very often, look what he does to the umpires here with his eyes. Get some glasses. Get some glasses, guy. If you get some glasses, you can see I'm enormously frustrated.
Looked like a strike to me.
It was close. Papi, did it look like a strike to you? It was outside. It was outside.
It looked like a strike to me. I don't know why he's waiting.
Right, I'm outnumbered here. I'm outnumbered.
Time to play the game that has a tapeworm infection. See or no?
A tapeworm infection.
Do you see Brandon Marshall cashing 9 passes? Do you see CrossFit cashing on as a legitimate sport?
I saw this on ESPN2 the other day. It was better programming than what you find on ESPN2 4:30 to 5, and less sweaty somehow, which is hard to imagine. And no, this is not going to become a legitimate sport. What this is going to become is something very good for the chiropractic industry, for doctors everywhere, because you're going to get injured. You're going to get fit. You are going to get fit, but you would also get fit if you crawled 1,000 miles from here through a desert. But you might also get injured. And you're going to get injured here because what do? Here, go into a gym and flip over a tractor tire 700 times. Papi, is it going to become a sport?
No, it's not going to be a sport. If there is not a basketball, a football, or a baseball, it cannot be a sport, right? Golf, tennis, all that good stuff. So.
Torn ACL.
That's right.
Quadriceps.
These guys, they only care about themselves. They only care about how well they look, after a workout and all that good stuff. You go like, I'm not really into it. That's not the sport. That's not the
sport. And I love that what you have right now on television, right now, is 2 fat guys telling you not to be fit.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
We're back on Tuesday. Off tomorrow and Monday. Back on Tuesday. Watch then. Thank you for watching today.
Gracias.
Our Twitter question of the day for Papi. Papi, what are your thoughts on the 5-second rule?
5-second rule? What's the 5-second rule?
Yeah, you drop something on the floor. If you pick it up within 5 seconds, you can still eat it.
I don't care how long the food stays on the floor. I'll eat it.
He's got a 5-month rule.
That's right.
There are things in his house. There's a crumb cake in his house in a corner that's been there for 5 months. He'll pick that up and he'll eat it. No problem.
Should we just accept Yunel Escobar's explanation and move on?
The explanation actually is more complicated than you think it is when you heard him speak. Now, it's unacceptable. He was suspended for 3 games and should have been for wearing on his face a gay slur while wearing a Major League Baseball uniform. But Ozzie Guillen tried to explain this, and there's some things lost in translation here. Ozzie Guillen, in his second language, tried to explain that he uses this word all the time with his kids, and an American or an English-speaking person would look at that and say, what are you talking about? But in Latin American countries, and Escobar tried to explain this yesterday in his second language, Guillen tried to explain it yesterday in his second language, in Latin American countries, this word doesn't always have a sexual connotation. It's not as politically incorrect as it is in this country. And Ozzie Guillen tried to give voice to that yesterday by saying, hey, listen, when we play in this country, we have to live by the rules of this country. But the word, when literally translated, doesn't mean the same thing in this country as it does in their countries.
Did the Florida Panthers really need to lay off their mascot?
You've gotten me to care about the NHL lockout. I didn't want to read a word about this lockout until I heard about this story. Now, unfortunately, they didn't fire the costume, just the guy in the costume, and the costume is now going to go on. Other people are going to wear the costume, but this created a great visual in my mind of him at the unemployment line in the costume, like super sad at the soup kitchen or wherever, but he doesn't look sad because he can't change the smile on his face. So he looks happy even while he's sad. What other jobs could he be doing?
Working the corner, selling his body, working the pole.
That is the state of hockey in South Florida. A crack-slinging mascot smelling like bourbon. Kids running up to him, trying to hug him. Get out of here, kid. I've been fired. I've been laid off. Get out of here. With booze on his breath. Just a huge smile, boozy smile, because he can't change the smile on his face.
Does Vernon Wells deserve plaudits or mockery for this effort?
Vernon Wells gets mocked a lot, maybe the most overpaid player in all of baseball. And statistically, the Angels, when he doesn't play, they win. When he does play, they lose. They happen to win here. He left the stadium. He left the playing field. Let's watch.
Here's Ian Kinsler, and Kins drives one.
This is easy to mock, right? Watch what happens here. Look how easy this is to mock. A paid professional jumps up in the air, ends up upside down, outside the field of play, nowhere near the baseball. And you want to mock this. And I understand, we should all mock this, but I have a theory on why it is that happened. You see there? He was expecting more tall wall. He ran on a tall wall. He thought he was going to dive into a chain link fence and not come anywhere near the baseball. But he hadn't accounted for the tall wall becoming a small wall.
You know, the size of the fence, the wall changes, you know.
I'm sorry, I can't
from
make
point A to point B.
I can't make that argument seriously. I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, he looks like a fool.
Coming up. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Same time tomorrow. Download the radio show on iTunes. Thank you for watching.
Gracias.
Today's Twitter question comes from Warren Beaton. He writes, did Dan ever have any girlfriends that you did not approve of?
No, I always went along.
Dad.
Who did I?
Dad, you threatened one time to bar the door to your house if I came home.
Oh, that's a different.
Dad, what do you mean that one's different? Why doesn't that count?
That wasn't your girlfriend.
We were just seeing each other.
That's right.
Sorry, Tiffany.
Is it hypocritical of the NFL to issue a warning to teams to respect the game?
It's good business. Perception is being shaped right now, and the NFL should have done this before. I mean, because the coaches and the general managers, they're not helping, the coaches especially, by yelling at the refs all the time. A memo has been sent out by Roger Goodell in the league telling coaches and general managers to behave themselves because perception is reality, and there's a lot of noise around their referees. But it shouldn't have said, and maybe didn't even say, respect the game. It probably just said, from Goodell's office, respect me. Respect my asinine position on the referees. That's what you need to respect.
Yeah, I don't understand why the ref, they don't throw a flag when one of these coaches he gets out of hand with them. You do that 3 or 4 times to the coach and you shut him up.
That's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea for the league to say, if you yell at any of our refs, it's an automatic penalty. It's a good idea by him.
Yeah.
He'd throw some flags. If he were a ref,
I'll throw some flags.
Oh, he would be throwing flags all over the place. All over the place.
I'd be flag happy.
You'd be swaggering around, throwing flags. He'd be a look at me,
Did you say something? Did you say something? Did you say something? Talk to me. I want to talk to me. Talk to me. I want to listen what you have to say. Should Tim Tebow cut back on the shirtless modeling until he gets more playing time?
This guy is beefcake. He loves to be shirtless. He doesn't just do underwear commercials. He's appeared shirtless before in photo shoots. The big, you remember the swirl around Jets camp. Sal Palantonio was, lightheaded, faint as Tim Tebow runs slow motion through the rain shirtless. Let's look at this. Available in newsstands, September 25th, Vogue magazine. There it is. Shirtless Tebow. Photographed by Annie Leibovitz. Look at that in the background. A tire, finally, they found a tire big enough for Tim Tebow to accurately throw a football through it.
That was a cheap shot on Tebow.
And I'll give you the roots of the cheap shot, too. I am just jealous that I don't look that way shirtless. Guess why? Bad genes. It's not because I eat too much.
That was another cheap shot on me now.
It was a cheap shot on you, too.
What was the most perilous part of this Francisco Liriano fielding play?
There was a lot of danger here for Liriano. At one point, he's got his back to approaching things. There's a bat, there's a ball, and watch where this ball ends up, and watch where it almost ended up. Look at this.
Obviously, it's cast the ball.
Bombardment of stimuli here.
Look at that.
Woo!
Yes.
That man is awfully relaxed for what just happened there. Look at how relaxed he is, as if he expected that. Whoa! Wait, can we take a look? I know there's a lot going on in this photo, but can you take a look at the disgust of the Kansas City Royal behind him, who just realized, what do I have to do here? This guy's got his back to me. I almost hit him in the jewels, and he ends up with my base hit. Look at the disgust in the background on this. Look at how disgusted he is. He thinks he's got a base hit. Yeah, that's some frustration right there. And you'd be frustrated, too, if you just had a base hit and Francisco Liriano caught it with his butt.
Do you question whether Phil Simms has a drinking problem?
Are we allowed to ask that question? Is there some context here that I can provide? Because this seems unfair that it's just going to be that question on the screen. And there are going to be bars all over the country that are watching this with the sound down. Well, not all over the country, in certain parts of the country and maybe a couple of households, but it's going to be on the screen. Do you question whether Phil Simms has a drinking problem? Showtime, inside the NFL. Let's watch.
I found out Miss Tootsie's is a place to go.
Keep going. Don't let it. Just keep going.
The thought of Twitter.
Just
okay?
the idea that Twitter was unbelievable. Somebody give him a hose over there. Oh, I need a napkin.
Oh, no! Oh, I thought that was spit. That is Phil Simms' least graceful moment in public ever. Way to go, Showtime, for keeping that in. Way to go, Phil Simms, for allowing them to keep that in. That's what we need. Fewer gas bags, more tea bags.
Time to play the game that thinks that griffining is lame. See or no?
Do you know what griffining even is?
No.
All right. You suggest events that could happen. We tell you if they will.
Do you see Peyton Manning's passes having more zip against the Texans?
He was a little crusty at a practice. He told some media members to move, and he said, because these wobblers still hurt if they hit you. And I love that Peyton Manning can't throw zingers anymore, but he can still say them. Wobblers. He's going to hurt them with wobblers. He's not hurting the Texans with wobblers. They're going to hurt him because they're coming after him. That's a great defense, and I don't think it's going to get a lot better here. This isn't the team to get better against. Papi, do you see him having more zip?
No, he's not going to have any more zip. He's going to be throwing those wobblers again, you know. It doesn't matter what. He better learn how to scramble better because they're coming after him. He's going to be throwing dogs up there. Quack, 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 quack. No? Do you see Chris Johnson breaking the 20-yard barrier this weekend?
Really? That's where we're putting the barrier at 20 yards? That's where we're putting it? He had 4 in his first game, 4 yards, 17 in his second, so progress, and he blamed his offensive line. And nobody wants to hear this, but this stat is actually so. On average, Chris Johnson, when he carries the football this year, gets hit in the backfield, 0.1 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He gets hit in the backfield on average. Papi, the Lions, you see him breaking the 20-yard barrier.
No, he's not going to break the 20-yard barrier because he got some bad dudes in that line.
Oh, the Lions do have some bad dudes. Name the one that you can never name. Name him.
Damaconsu.
Ah, Damaconsu.
Do you see Greg Schiano and the Bucs attacking the nail down again on Sunday?
Oh, for sure. I love this guy. Schiano, a Jersey guy, comes from Rutgers, somehow got Tony Soprano involved with that program. Tony Soprano was helping him recruit at Rutgers, and this guy's behaving like a mob boss now. He is saying, I do not apologize for this. I know your league. I know that everybody's mad at me. I don't care. I will keep doing this. This is something that I believe in. He did it a ton at Rutgers, and he's going to do it again because he's going to be down late against Dallas, and they will do it again. Papi, you see it happening again?
See, it's going to happen again because the Bucs, they cannot beat the Cowboys at home, you know. So that's it. So Schiano has his game plan already set up.
That's it. He's game planning it right now. Right. He's doing it right now. They know they're going to be losing late, and they're right now practicing that play again. All week, they're practicing that play. Good for you, Greg Schiano.
Do you see Kevin Kolb leading the Cardinals to 3-0 by beating the Eagles?
The Cardinals are sneaky good. They're 9-2 in their last 11 games. And the Eagles have turned the ball over 9 times and are 2-0. That team would beat anybody if they could figure out a way to not turn the ball over, but they haven't been able to figure out a way to not do that. Papi, you like the Cardinals to beat the Eagles in this game?
No. I love birds, you know, and an eagle will always kill a Cardinals, you know, because they're stronger, they're faster, and they're hungrier. That's it. I don't see them beating the eagle at all.
That wasn't the question. It wasn't the question whether you like birds and which would win in a bird fight.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Have a good weekend. Thank you for watching. Back on Monday.
Gracias.
Your voice cracked a little bit there. Do you have a favorite bird?
Yeah, the woodpecker.
Why the
I like the sound that makes the woodpecker.
I'm Dan Levitard of the Miami Herald. This man over here is my father, Gonzalo. On today's show, football. And then a little more football. And after that, more football. First football question, Papi.
Was Bill Belichick justifying grabbing the ref?
I can justify that, absolutely. You work all week. You've got your defensive tackle with his helmet off, screaming at a referee. You want an explanation. You're in a game that has more first downs by penalty, 13, than any in the history of the sport, and you want an explanation. You feel like you're owed an explanation. Did the ball go over the upright? Do you know that it was in? Are we going to replay it? Justified for him to get angry, justified for him to want an explanation from a ref running off the field. But you know what else would be justified? Roger Goodell, who likes making symbolic statements, is Roger Goodell suspending Belichick, making him a scapegoat, making him a symbol for this, and hitting him hard. Not just a fine, even though what would be reasonable would be just a fine, hitting him hard to say, enough with this, we're not going to have this anymore.
Did you think the field goal was good?
I couldn't tell. I have no idea. I mean, the referee, I know Wilfork was furious, but the referee literally had the best angle of anyone in that place, anyone in the world. There was no one in the world, except for maybe the mascot, who was delirious with joy, who had an angle as good as the referee's.
Matt Schwab won the game but lost part of his ear. Fair trade?
His name is Schaub. Schwab sounds like, doesn't sound like a quarterback, but neither does Matt Schaub for that matter. And it is a fair trade. And now in our lifetime, athletes are 2-0 when they lose part of their ear during some sort of skirmish. You've got Evander Holyfield, and now you've got Matt Schaub. It's not a fair trade to us, normal human beings, but if I went around a football field and I asked everybody on that football field, you'll get to win today, but you're going to lose part of your ear, all of them would take that transaction. All of them would be good with it because they don't think like we do. Ronnie Lott cut off part of his finger, chose to cut off part of his finger in order to keep playing in a football game. Schaub will take this trade. It's insane, but he'll take this trade.
Best team in football, the Texans?
They're really good. Yes, I would say so, and I would have said so before the last 3 games because they haven't really beaten anybody. I mean, Denver and Jacksonville and Miami, those aren't impressive wins. But when you consider that this team, unhealthy, with its 3rd-string quarterback, went deep into the playoffs last year, I think this is the best team in football if it stays healthy.
After all the Lions need to come back, how could they push a fake quarterback sneak?
What an insane football game this was. This was the best football game of the season. 1,020 yards between both teams, and then it gets decided by 1 botched yard at the end. The Titans score 2 touchdowns on special teams, score a defensive touchdown, and the Lions come back by scoring 2 touchdowns with 20 seconds left in the game. And then you lose at the end because you can't get a quarterback sneak right, and Jim Schwartz blamed his quarterback and his center. You'll see in the replays, they're the only 2 guys moving. I don't know whose fault this was, the quarterback or the center, but Jim Schwartz explicitly said, don't snap the ball. We're just going to try and draw them off sides. How Lions is this? This is the Lions' way to lose right here, isn't it? I mean, of all the creative ways that the Lions have lost under Matt Millen, so many decades of losing, they've never lost quite this way. Trying to draw the other team off sides, 9 guys do their job, but the center and the quarterback don't, and then and eat that for a week. For a week, you gotta live with could have been 2-1, now you're 1-2.
Drew Brees says the Saints will be a great team this season. Believe it?
His demeanor after 0-3 was much better than Cam Newton's demeanor. And a lot of people are pointing and saying, look, this is leadership. But I remind you that Cam Newton beat Drew Brees this season. So much for that leadership. But listen, here, he says they're still okay.
It's very frustrating, disappointing, and yet there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to turn this thing around. And I don't know what that's going to result in regards to how many wins or playoffs or whatever, but we're going to be a great team.
There's no doubt in his mind. How can there be no doubt in his mind? Consider this, okay? Last year at home, the Saints were 9-0 and won by an average of 22 points a game. This year, they've already lost 2 home games, and that's not the worst part. Here's the worst part. They're 0-3 against 3 teams that haven't beaten anyone else in the league. They're losing to the bad teams, and twice they lost at home after last year being 9-0 and winning by an average of 22 points. That's not going to be a great team this year. That's not even going to be a good team this year.
Should we admire Greg Schiano for sticking to his guns?
This guy is a genius. He is the genius in the league at coach, because do you know how hard it is in this league to lose and take the attention away from the fact that you lost? Take the conversation away from that you lost 2 weeks in a row. He has lost. The Bucs have lost 2 weeks in a row, and we're talking about something other than them losing. You can only be in the position he's in if you've lost, if the game is over, and he's figured out a way to camouflage it ridiculously at the end.
49ers losing to the Vikings yesterday. Fluke upset or something bigger?
What do you think?
Well, they lost. What's a big deal? They were not expecting to go 16-0, no?
That's true, right? They weren't expected to go 16-0, but they weren't expected to lose as a touchdown favorite to someone we think is a bad team with not much of a quarterback. But an interesting flaw in the 49ers, and they do not have very many, is this team is not good at coming from behind. Alex Smith threw his first interception in 249 passes yesterday, at least in part because when they get reckless, when they have to air it out a little bit, they're not good at that. They're good at paper cutting you to death. They're good at getting 5 yards on 3rd and 4. They're good at 17-play drives. They're not good at rallying from a deficit. This team's biggest weakness is if they're behind, they're not good at catching up. They're not built to catch up.
Do you think Andy Reid is second-guessing his decision to keep Michael Vick over Kevin Kolb?
We need jerk week to week in this league. I'm not even sure Kevin Kolb is better than John Skelton. The Arizona coaching staff said pretty clearly at the beginning of the season they don't think Kevin Kolb is better than John Skelton. But one of the wonders in this league is that Kevin Kolb is now 3-0. That means he's got as many victories as this combination of quarterbacks: Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Drew Brees. Kevin Kolb. The Arizona Cardinals are the stunning surprise of this season, and I'm not sure how surprised we should be, given that they're 10-2 in their last 12 games. How many teams in this league have a 10-2 record in their last 12 games?
You think Michael Vick is beginning to hate Andy Reid for all the times he's getting hit?
Do you think Andy Reid is beginning to hate Michael Vick for all the times that he leaves the ball on the floor or he throws it to the other guys? I mean, they're going to have a fist fight by Game 7 of this season, the two of them on the field.
Did Joe Philbin lose again for the Dolphins?
What do you think? A lot of people in Miami are saying that today.
Why did he freeze the kicker? I don't understand that.
Yeah, a lot of people are blaming Joe Philbin today because he called a timeout trying to freeze the kicker, and what ended up happening is the Dolphins ended up blocking the kick after the whistle. And everybody in this league does this, even though statistically the advantages are negligible. It's been proven that icing the kicker is kind of a myth. He doesn't actually get iced. But what decided this game for the Dolphins was earlier. They had the game to win it in overtime, and their kicker ended up missing a kick. But there was a bonus. The nation, who doesn't know that kicker, got to see him in his frustration take off his helmet and just have this wonderful flowing hair. And all of a sudden, everyone in the country learned that the kicker for the Dolphins also performs every once in a while with Nickelback.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, we have more glorious football.
More. Not enough, but more.
Did the Red Hat really prevent Kevin Ogletree from catching a touchdown pass?
I don't know if this ball was catchable. I don't know if this would have ended up with Ogletree being able to get to this football. But how replacement ref is this move? Because it's not merely the throwing of the hat onto the field in a way that trips the receiver, and we'll see the video in a second, but he should have never thrown the hat in the first place because Ogletree wasn't out of bounds. So watch this. Here you go. I mean, how could this be worse right here? How could it be worse if he just threw it in his helmet, if he threw it right in his face mask? Like, what other places could he have thrown it?
You know, the regular ref, they also make mistakes. A lot of them. They don't talk about that.
No, they do talk about that. It's just that the mistakes weren't these mistakes, like giving Jim Harbaugh 2 extra challenges or tripping Ogletree with your hat. They just messed up coin flips.
Why aren't we talking about the 3-0 Falcons?
There's an Atlanta
smells faintly of whiskey. Do you question?
It's not faintly. You give us topics and events and we question them.
Do you question whether what Kyle Shanahan did was worse than what Bill Belichick did?
It was pretty bad. This is kind of amazing. If he was this angry, can you imagine how angry his red-faced father was? Well, his father's always red-faced, but he was extra nuclear red-faced after this. The Redskins at the end of the game had a 3rd and 45 because for the second straight week, they got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at a really horrible time. And then Kyle Shanahan ends up chasing the refs through the tunnel, yelling, "You have no bleeping bleep, you have one of these, you don't have this kind of anatomy, you have that kind of anatomy." Did no one in this sport get that memo the NFL sent that you're not supposed to? The NFL sent a memo. You're not supposed to do these things. And it's getting worse. It's not getting better. The memo got lost. It got lost, right? It didn't end up at the Shanahan address.
Do you question whether Jacoby Jones over-celebrated throwing a penalty?
No, he did not. No, this won the game. It was a great game. It was very tense. They thought they were going to lose to the Patriots. The Patriots never lose when they're up 9 in the 4th quarter. It's happened only 5 times in like 100-some-odd games under Belichick. Jacoby Jones is going to work it. Look at him. He's fired up, and he should be. Jacoby Jones got a penalty here. That wins the game right there. Let's see what you got, Peacock. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. No, he didn't over-celebrate. He celebrated the right amount.
No, he just agreed with the call, that's all.
That's right. He was just nodding in agreement with the call. He was just agreeing. That's right.
Do you question whether Philip Rivers showed up his punter?
Oh, he showed up his punter, but his punter deserved it. His punter's very good. Mike Cypher's averaging more than 50 yards a kick this season. Celebrated his 500th punt yesterday, although celebrated seems like the wrong verb there, right? I mean, how do you celebrate your 500th punt? Like that is how you celebrate your 500th punt. Look at this, though. Watch Rivers on the sideline, and I blame Josh McDaniels for denying us twice a year watching Rivers and Cutler out-pout each other in a game. Look at Rivers. Look at Rivers here on the sideline, right here. Ah! That's frustrating. 20-3. He's annoyed. He's got his helmet off. Look at him. Just total backhanded disgust. Coach reaches out for it. We were looking on the wrong part of that video, though. We shouldn't have been looking at the sideline down here. We should have been looking at the 3 next to San Diego up here.
Do you question whether NBC tried hard enough to avoid showing a streaker at the Ravens game?
Oh, Al Michaels was furious. He demanded and used this word that this guy be thrown in the hooskow. And look, though, they've got up top, they've got the blimp, though. The blimp is still there. And I suppose if you're a streaker and, you know, it's cold out and it's, you know, you're nude, and I suppose the best possible scenario is that they get you from way up there so that, you know, if you got anything going on that's... Let's move on. Let's show the video.
It's half a streaker.
Is that streaker dressed?
Guy's got his bathing trunks on.
He's wearing a cape and some pants, and look, from this angle, they seem to be closing in on
I think we had replacement security guards for a while. They finally take them
So Al Michaels doesn't like the streakers, doesn't like the sub-ref. He doesn't have a sense of humor.
Al Michaels doesn't have a sense of humor. Yeah. NBC did its job just fine. They got the camera that was the furthest distance away from said streaker, and only because we helpfully put a spot shadow on this did you even notice that there was a streaker on the field. They look like a bunch of ants running around out there. If we hadn't given you the spot shadow to make this a bigger story than it actually is, you wouldn't have even seen the streaker, and he wouldn't have been criticizing Al Michaels.
Time to play the game that doesn't like your face. See or no?
You suggest events that could happen, we tell you if they will. Get that face out of here.
Do you see Russell Wilson keeping up with Aaron Rodgers tonight?
Oh, I do not. But here's an interesting stat for you. Now, I'm not a defensive coordinator, but I suspect that the Packers may know about this stat, that Clay Matthews may be catapulting himself into this backfield at a high rate of speed tonight. This year, when facing 4 rushers or fewer, Russell Wilson completes 78% of his passes. When facing more than 4 rushers, he completes 39% of his passes. You're going to see blitzing tonight. There's going to be some blitzing. Papi, do you see Russell Wilson keeping up with Aaron Rodgers tonight?
Oh, listen, the Cowboys, they lost last week. Seattle's a tough place to play. So, you know, I can see something good happening in Seattle.
Why do you know that? Why do you know that Seattle's a tough place to play? Why do you know that the Cowboys lost there?
Because we're eliminated in the elimination pool. We're no longer there.
That's right. Nobody did worse in the ESPN elimination pool than this father-son tandem because he picked the Cowboys at Seattle.
Do you see Ichiro keeping his hot streak going tonight?
Oh, he's 15 for his last 25. His OPS is around 850 on base and slugging. He's only had an 850 OPS a couple of times in his career. He's gone crazy lately. Look at this hit on Friday night. This improbable hit on Friday night.
Right back to Parker. He bobbles.
Of course that's a hit because he hit it inside his shirt. Way to hustle, Ichiro. He should have kept going. That should have been a double. That should have been a double. Papi, you got to start ripping off clothes in that spot.
You got to take your shirt off. You cannot just wait for the ball to come out. You got to take your shirt off.
Do you see the hot streak continuing tonight?
Oh, see, Ishiro's getting a lot of attention lately. You know, he hasn't done anything for the last 2 years, but now he's part of the Yankees, you know. You can never count them out.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. All of a sudden in Seattle, that ball wouldn't have gone inside an opponent's shirt. But when you get to Yankee Stadium, all of a sudden, that's one of the hitting advantages.
Do you see the White Sox losing sole possession of the AL Central League tonight?
What a terrible pennant race. And it's an insult to other pennant races to call this a pennant race. They've got their ace going tonight against the Indians, so they should win, but you never know in this division because the Tigers were right there. They were going to catch them yesterday, and what did they do? They lost a doubleheader, and I feel instead of like last year when you've got the Braves and the Rays playing against the Orioles on the last day, a very exciting day, this division's going to be decided by who can lose twice on the last day while the other team only loses once. Papi, do you see the White Sox losing sole possession of first place
I don't know what is going on here. Nobody wants to win, so I got to go with the CNNO. I'm not sure.
Okay, our first ever CNNO. Just complete confusion. I don't know what that answer means, but I'd like to end the show.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Back tomorrow at the same time. Check out the radio show on iTunes. Thank you for watching.
Gracias.
Today's Twitter question comes from Matt Perkle. Papi, how difficult was Dan to potty train?
Oh, you got to ask your mother, because I remember one day she was bathing you in a small portable bath, and all of a sudden you shot her in the face.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Welcome. What is up? I'm Dan Batard of the Miami Herald. This man over here is my father, Gonzalo. On today's show, we get engulfed by football and replacement referee talk. Let's get started, Papi.
What do you think of the NFL statement?
This statement was amazing in its audacity, in its arrogance, the way that the bloated NFL just lied to your face and said, hey, look, there might have been a little something wrong on that play. Golden Tate kind of interfered, but the result is final. And the way the process worked, according to the rules, is the way that it's supposed to work. See you on Thursday. And we will see you on Thursday, because you're not going anywhere. See you in record numbers on Thursday.
Can you believe they backed the call that it was a catch and not an interception?
They've got everyone turning on them. Chris Mortensen is on Twitter, lovable. I mean, Mort loves the league, saying the league thinks you're stupid. I wish that I could find anyone in my family life as loyal as the NFL is to the refs.
In live action, do you think Golden Tate caught the ball?
Well, this is what's getting lost here in all the noise that has enveloped this story. Yeah, I thought he caught the ball, and I think a lot of you did too. And this isn't an easy call. I know we've got microscopes on the field in super slow motion. It's not an easy call, and it's so easy to drown this in angry noise now, when if any of us had been on the field trying to make that call, including the real refs, we might have gotten it wrong.
The Golden Tate knowingly lied to Lisa Salters.
This was amazing sound. There was a lot of amazing angry sound after this game, but what Golden Tate did to Lisa Salters was laugh out loud funny. Even the league, which is still defending the refs in this spot, says, yeah, that was pass interference. But look at Golden Tate. He doesn't know what you're talking about, Lisa.
Did you push off?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's review what just happened here in its entirety. Golden Tate blatantly, overtly cheated. Even the league admits it. Golden Tate didn't really catch that pass. Golden Tate afterward blatantly lied to the face of Lisa Salters and everyone else. And Golden Tate today is your hero. There has never been a guy more appropriately named than this guy. He is indeed golden.
Should an MD Jennings have batted the ball away instead of trying to intercept it?
That's the rule, right? That's what they say you're supposed to do in that situation. Just bat it down, bat it down. But just recently, last Hail Mary, we saw a successful one in the Titans-Lions game. That guy batted the ball down, and what happened there? Touchdown. Touchdown is what happened there. So it's easy to say today, but MD Jennings caught the ball to his chest. That seems to be a pretty good play. In that situation, catching the ball to your chest and intercepting it, that seems even safer than knocking it down. Usually. Sometimes. Yeah.
Not in this case.
Not in this case.
Did Pete Carroll over-celebrate?
There wasn't a lot of dignity with the Seahawks. It wasn't just Golden Tate lying to Lisa Salters. It was Pete Carroll saying in his post-game press conference, good call, good call. But this over-celebration is not an over-celebration. This is the right amount to celebrate when you have been handed a gift from the sky that you absolutely don't deserve because your receiver was cheating and didn't catch the ball actually. Look at this. This is the right amount to celebrate. Yeah! Yeah, that's who I am. I'm a rock star. Yeah! I win. Yeah, let me hug everybody. Can you believe that? Guys, let's run off this field before they change their minds. Let's run off. No, he didn't over-celebrate. He could have done cartwheels. That would have been good with
I think that he wanted to be carried off the field.
He did. He did. He was sort of reaching for shoulder pads there. Come on, guys, carry me. This is a historic moment. Can you believe how we built the league? That would have been great if they'd carried him off.
If you were coaching the Packers, would you have sent your players on the field for the extra point?
Mike McCarthy, I thought last night, was a shining light, and I really never thought that sentence would come out of my mouth. Mike McCarthy is kind of grumpy, doesn't have a lot of personality, but he was totally classy, and this was one of the classy moves, but that's not what you're asking me. You're asking me what I would have done. Hell no, I wouldn't have sent my team out there for the extra point. If guys had gone out there to do the extra point, to try and be classy, I would have threatened them with fines and suicide sprints for doing that. No, I wouldn't have been classy in that situation. I would have been more likely to set fire to the line of scrimmage with lighter fluid and matches than send my team out there. But congratulations to Mike McCarthy. You're classy.
Which Packer gave the best bitter reaction?
There was a lot of angry noise to choose from. Here's the antiseptic, the most antiseptic version. Team leader, scrubbed up in a suit, angry, seething, but publicly professional. Here's Aaron Rodgers.
It was awful.
What way?
Just look at the replay. And then the fact that it was reviewed. It was awful. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I love that publicly, in front of the microphones, that's a lot of what you got. But when these guys got into private with their computers, you've got TJ Lang going crazy, an offensive guard I'd never heard of before yesterday. Expletives all over the place. This guy was so popular, melting down on Twitter, that he got about 60 or 70,000 Twitter followers in the 15 minutes after the game because everyone heard, hey, look, go over there. There's a Packer, and he's lost his mind on Twitter. But that wasn't my favorite. Did you see what this guy, Tom Crabtree, said?
Yeah, I got an idea. What did he say?
All right, why don't you read this for us? Because this was the best right here.
Imagine you make a painting. It isn't perfect by other standards, but it is your painting. You're proud. Then someone takes a shit on it. So Fidel Godell has to end the lockout ASAP, right?
No, he does not. That statement didn't have very much give in it from the NFL. They weren't conceding much of anything, and this is where you are with the NFL, okay? Because they're fighting over $4 million. The NFL is the grocery store. The grocery store doesn't give you air conditioning because it's kind and benevolent and wants the customer to have a nice climate. It gives you air conditioning because you might go to another grocery store if it doesn't give you air conditioning that has air conditioning. But in this case, there are no other grocery stores. You aren't going anywhere. You know what you're going to do? You're going to complain and you're going to sweat, but you're going to go back on Thursday and on Sunday and sit in that steamy sauna and watch his league. And until you stop doing that, he's not turning on the air conditioning.
That's a little short-sighted, though, isn't it? I mean, the long-term damage done to the league could be significant.
But what's the long-term damage? When the replacement refs come back, we'll actually have a new appreciation for them that we never had before, and we'll still love the league. We're not going anywhere. We are going to sit there on Sundays and eat it.
Coming up next on my son's time to play the game not yet tainted by replacement ref. Do you question?
Not yet anyways. You give us topics and events and we question them.
Do you question whether RG3 is getting hit too much?
He is getting hit a ton. The two quarterbacks in the league who have been hit the most are him 23 times and Michael Vick. That's behind the line of scrimmage. Never mind in front of the line of scrimmage. Look at some of these hits here. He is getting hit way too much. And Michael Vick is not someone you want to be associated with when it comes to taking hits because he gets hurt for a very good reason. And there was a funny letter to the Washington Post, Papi. There was a funny letter. Somebody said they should put him on a hits limit. Like Strasburg was on an innings limit, put him on a 100-hit limit. The problem with that is if you put him on a 100-hit limit, you're going to have to sit him after Game 5.
Do you think Shanahan will start protecting him more?
No. He needs him. At this point, RG3 is protecting the legacy of Mike Shanahan. We're a long way removed from John Elway and Terrell Davis. So no, he's not going to. He's going to run him into the ground. And then when he gets hurt, if he gets hurt, he's going to say, well, I didn't have my quarterback. What do you expect? What could I have done?
Do you question whether Arkansas coach John L. Smith knows where he is?
Yes. There's more to this question? You guys have video or sound or something? Yes, I spend all my time questioning whether he knows where he is. Give me proof. I don't need proof, but give me some proof.
But I'm asking you as fans, don't give up on those players. Don't give up on us. It's our program. It's a state of Alabama program. It's not one individual's program. Okay? So hang in there. We're all a part of it.
The state of Alabama's program. He wishes he was in the state of Alabama, but when the state came to him, it beat him 52-0, and he's lost to Rutgers. And oh my gosh, I feel so bad for you, Pig Suey. So bad. I can't tell. Oh, that's your leader. I'm so sorry.
Time to play the game that takes them down Gangnam style. See or no?
You suggest events that could happen, we tell you if they will.
Do you see Miguel Cabrera tying Josh Hamilton for most home runs in baseball tonight?
I do, even though the odds are obviously against it because I'm rooting for this guy. But what I'm rooting for most tonight is that someone tries a new creative way to pitch to him the way Luke Hochaver, tried to do last night. Watch him try to quick pitch Miguel Cabrera. Now, Cabrera kills this guy, 16 for 32 career. Watch that again, and Cabrera finds this uproarious. And let me translate for you here. Ha, ha, ha! I'm Cabrera, you're Hochaver. You better try some of that garbage to get me out because I'm Miguel Cabrera. He finds this uproarious. Papi, you see this happening tonight? You see Mickey catching Josh Hamilton?
Mickey's going to catch Josh tonight. And he might go beyond that. He might hit 2 home runs tonight. Go over him. Yeah, you know, we're right down to the wire now. This is where Mickey excels.
Do you have any stats to back up that he excels at the end? Do you have any stats to back that up?
All good players, they do.
Okay. No would be the answer to that. No, my father has no stats to back up his gas bagging.
Do you see the Braves winning a record time 22 straight with Chris Maitland on the mound? Do you see Derek Jeter extending his hitting streak to 19 games tonight?
This guy, who has aged better than this guy? I thought he was finished 2 years ago. I thought that the Yankees shouldn't give him the contract that he was asking for 2 years ago, and now he's outperforming it. The guy is hitting .323 this season. He's been great for them at 38 years old, and I sound disgusted by it, right? Yeah, it's because I've been railing against this guy not being clutch for so many years, and he just keeps taking a baseball bat to my face. Papi, do you see him extending it to 19?
How old is he? 38?
He's 323.
Is he taking something special?
No, be careful there, Papi. You don't want to become the Cuban Skip Bayless. No, be careful.
I don't know.
No, be careful. Just say yes. He meant yes. Yes is what he meant then.
No, wait a second. I changed my mind.
No.
His hitting streak is going to come to an end tonight. That's it. Because the pharmacy is closed.
The pharmacy is closed? Can't say that on television. Did he just say that on television?
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Check out the radio show on iTunes. Thank you for watching.
Gracias.
On Twitter today, someone is asking us, Louis Lee is asking us, Papi, can I get a father-son shimmy? Go ahead, Papi. Give him the shimmy. My father doesn't know how to do the shimmy the way I do. My father's not as good at it. I'm better at it. Not much better, but better. What are you doing? You look like you're being electrocuted.